We're going to go into the conversations right away. We're going to start from a social perspective where, you know, some trotro drivers, if you like, are creating artificial shortage to fleece Ghanaians to take advantage of the surge in passenger population. And of course, what actions are being taken, what concerns have been raised alike. I'm going to say good morning to Elvis Darko. He's the editor of the Newscenta newspaper and Newscenta.com. Elvis, good morning. It's good to have you. Then we have the Honorable Ebenezer Ndebilla. He's the Member of Parliament for Zembila. Honorable, good morning. It's good to have you. My brother. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, so we're going straight into it. It looks like a situation that has been created by the trotro drivers. The GPRTU seems to want to disassociate itself from it, alleging that those who are, if you like, violating the agreed upon transport fares are not members of the union. So how do we go about it to ensure some sanity, especially regarding the agreed upon fares, in order to curb this matter? Elvis, I'll start off with you.
I have said that there are two groups of people that can bring you to power in Ghana, and they can send you to opposition.
Who are these two people?
Commercial drivers and traders. These are the only two groups.
They
if
will
they are on your
power,
side, you come to power. If they are against you, you go to opposition. And it's state failure that has empowered them, especially in the case of the transport unions. The issue is simple. No one is bound to belong to any transport association in Ghana. No driver is bound by any law to belong to any transport association in Ghana. It is voluntary that they join various associations for whatever benefit they think they stand to gain for belonging to those associations. So what has happened is that there are so many drivers who don't belong to any of the associations, whether Pro Tour or GPRTU, or they don't belong to any. They are doing their own thing because no law binds them to belong to any association. The challenge here is that because we have failed as a country to put up a working public transport system, we are now at the mercy of private transport system. And if you are living in a free market economy, people price their goods based on various reasons. And sometimes when we attempt to intervene, I ask myself, do we really want to price a free market economy? Because in a free market economy, it's demand and supply that determines what somebody charges for a product or a service or anything. So if there is a way, a sustainable way government can deal with public this whole issue, is to create a working and effective public transport system. Because if this morning there are buses from Tema, Ashaman, Kasua, Adenta, all of them heading towards Accra for people to come to work. And there are those that are heading towards Tema because people work in Tema. And you have the option to choose between a public transport system, which government has control over because that is owned by the public, the state. And therefore, government can say, because fuel prices have come to this level, the public transport system is charging this kind of amount. You now have a choice to either go with the public transport system or go with private. How much a private charges you is not government's business. How much government charges you, that one you have a say because you are a taxpayer and you pay money to the state. So if government run a service, you can complain that you think this is more expensive or not. But with the absence of a working and effective public transport system, this problem will just go back and forth. And government can only appeal to these associations and groups. If they decide to do what they think is in their interest, government appeal will fall on deaf ears because it is a private institution. They determine how much they want to charge for their services. You government's argument that fuel prices have gone, a dollar has done this. Yeah, everybody sees it. But the point is, the person says for me, this is how much I want to sell this. I want to sell this product. You either buy it or go elsewhere. That is what we are practicing in Ghana. So this appeal, we have been doing it in this Fourth Republic for so many years. The truth of the matter is that it remains just a voluntary decision on the part of drivers. It remains a voluntary decision. That's why even the GPRTU and Protea, the reason they sometimes have conflict in their own station is that because Protea came late, they came after GPRTU. they decided to enter the market through fares. Okay. So you go to certain stations and Protea fares are a bit lower than GPRT. And when they started getting the passenger, GPRT was not happy that Protea, which is a new union that is an offshoot from GPRT, seems to be getting the passenger. So the truth of the matter is that this thing will remain appeal. If you take STC and you take VIP or any other one, the fares are not the same.
True.
But the fuel prices we are talking about and the
price of spare parts
price and the rest are the same. But STC has a different charge.
True.
VIP has a different charge. There's another one. There are so many of the private companies. So we should understand the free market economy. The most important thing is to remain that there is effective competition. And if government is concerned about public transport and believe that public transport is important, then fix the public transport system. From is it Kufuor era or so, we have been spending money on Ayalolo that we are trying to do a public transport system. What has come out of it? Every government will sink money into Ayalolo. By the time you see the bus are packed, the lanes created for Ayalolo, the BRT is not being enforced. So private drivers have taken over because the roads you are building, you didn't build any road for BRT, and now you are now trying to carve off one lane of the road and use to BRT, and because you can't enforce it, it's not working. And Ayalolo will tell you that they do the work, government forced them to reduce the fares, so they are not making enough money to run as a commercial entity. They close down when the government intervention stops coming. We've seen what has happened to Metro Mass. Metro Mass, when it came, we all thought that it's going to compete with the private people. At the end of the day, if you compare what Metro Mass is offering and the private, more people go to the private because there's an option.
True.
So we must have a government decision that let's have an effective public transport system that works. Then the Ghanaian has the option of A is charging, as I said, STC is charging this, VIP charges this. You choose between STC and VIP, the one you want. If government creates an effective public transport and it works, a lot of all these things we are complaining about, our government is struggling to fix, will not exist.
Right.
Because if I go to the station, assuming I'm coming from Adenta to Accra to come and work, and the buses brought in before the MPP left, the electric one, is at the station, and probably that is charging from that place to Accra 5 cedi. And the private people say from Adenta to Accra is 10 cedis. As a consumer, I look at my pocket and say, between 5 and 10 cedis, which one do I take? But when you get to the station and you don't have the government option, it is what the private person is charging that you pay. And if you don't pay, you won't go. So for me, the most important thing is that let's look at it. Look, when COVID came and countries are looking for how to get reprieve for their citizens, Germany, for instance, all they did was that the government just decided that they were going to reduce the fares for public transport, the ram, the trail, and the buses. They just reduce it and says, if you decide to do something else, means that you can afford. But if you want to have that relief from government, go for here, and this is the reduction. And everybody that wants to benefited from it. So we cannot continue always be pretend that we don't know the problem. The problem is not the private drivers. The problem is not whether they are unionized or not unionized. The problem is that we don't have an effective public transport system that the Ghanaian can rely on and say, I am better off with public transport rather than going for private transport. We have done all that we can, spend so money trying to revive just Accra Tema rail to ferry passengers. Up to today, ask what's the state of the service. Just rail for Accra Tema, not the state of the service. So we cannot continue to pretend and then the drivers are the ones that are shortening people. The drivers are doing their work as private business people. Okay? Tomorrow government will come and say, ChannelOne, people are complaining that your advert rate is too much. So we want to negotiate dialogue with you to reduce advert rate because dollar has come down.
Would they subsidize?
How does that happen?
Would they subsidize?
You can only go to GTV, which state owned, and say, which you are state owned. But
so
ChannelOne is not a government agent. So how ChannelOne operates, the charges, how they charge, is no business of government. But we are treating the transport organization as if they are a quasi-government institution where government can determine to them how much they should charge or not.
Thank you.
It is just something we must all understand that government has no business telling private people
how much
they should sell their product. Create an environment where there's competition.
Thank you.
For people to choose between competition.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's say good morning to the Honorable Fuseini Issah, former MP, Okaikwei North. I always want to give you South. Okaikwei North, former Member of Parliament, Okaikwei North. Honorable, good morning. It's good to have you.
Good morning, and good to see you again. Good to see you again, and good morning to your viewers.
Looking
and
sharp
good morning
as
to my fellow panelists, especially MP for Zembila.
Yeah.
Zembila is a very, the thought of the former PSC. Ndebilla. Ndebilla is quite a stalwart, and so Zembila just brings
a lot of memories.
Ndebilla was quite a...
Right, let's hear from Honorable Ndebilla, and then I'll come to you. Honorable, this issue that we're facing, system failure or individual greed, what do you think?
I think that it's both. Both in the sense that greed, because government creates an enabling environment for the private sector to thrive. Unfortunately, in the case of the transport system, when prices of fuel is coming down, and you still have private, and then the unions ask them to reduce prices, then you still have the private operators still increasing their fares. So on that score, you would say that it is greed, and it is not only even in the private sector, in the transport sector. If you look at most of the sectors, if you go to to Makola market today, you would see that most of the imported goods, as the dollar is coming down, prices of goods are still high, because people are not ready to reduce their prices to correspond with the reduction in the exchange rate. And so for that reason, I will say that, yes, there's some kind of greed in our system, that even the villages where, some prices of like some foodstuff are supposed to be very low, people still price them high because they think that, okay, I go to the market to buy other stuff and prices are high. So why would I come to reduce my prices or the price of my goods? So that is what I think that it's our system. We do not, imbibe that kind of, integrity to the extent that when things are going low, let's also reduce prices to reflect the reality on the ground. But the system, yes, I agree perfectly with my brother for government failure in fixing our transport system. Over the years, successive governments have not been that effective in fixing our public transport system. You travel out the country and what you see is a different thing altogether as compared to our system here. If our rail system is fixed, and like he said, from Tema coming to Accra, you have a very robust rail system. From within Accra, from here to Tema, Adenta and the rest, everything is neat. I don't think private transport owners will mess up the system, because they will have to be competitive. They have to reduce their prices to be competitive with the public transport system. But because that is not done, we have the private sector or the private operators taking advantage of the system and trying to hike their prices to make abnormal profit. And it is perfectly so. Most of these things are driven by certain factors. Price of goods are determined by supply and demand. And so for the fact that there are more people on the road on daily basis looking for transport to go to work, to go to various areas, it is only proper that as a rational human being who always look for the best, who will look for higher profits, will begin to increase fares in order to make more gains. But I think that if the system is fixed, that we have an effective and robust public transport system, all these things will reduce, because people will want to also work in order to stay afloat within the system, so that they don't go out of business. And so I believe that it is both. It is both our attitude, and then again also the system is not properly fixed. So I think that it is about time government looks at it. We should not be putting so much blame on rational human beings who take rational decisions, but we should be looking at what do we do in order that they will begin to work according to the rules. Because if you begin to fix the system, they will be compelled to work within the system. But if we don't do that and we allow them as rational human beings, they will want to do things that will give them more, benefits.
What do you make of this strategy that they have employed? Instead of loading from from a station to a final destination, they load in tots. It's like they load from, say, Accra, that they are going to Medina, but when they get to 37, they drop you. And then they load again from 37 to Medina so that they can get some extra money on that. I mean, and this is outside of the agreed routes and fares being charged.
Yes, yes.
Because no, the fares are placed on one point to the other.
But the person I'm going from Accra to 37 and you join.
The person loads from Accra to Medina.
Yes.
But when they get to 37, they will tell you that this is their last.
No.
And they drop you off there.
No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way.
What they're doing, they're loading in tots.
No, what I see.
They don't tell they are going to, but they will tell they are going to 37.
Yes.
And when they get to 7, you are like, and they shout that they are going to Medina.
Yes.
And then you join again, they will pay. They don't tell them, when they say Medina, so they will charge you only Medina fare.
Yeah.
That's the strategy they use.
So what I have noticed about that is that, at the stations, there are many of them, and they have to be in a queue, to load in tents. And so what most of them do is that instead of joining a very long, winding queue, then I'd rather be doing tot. I'll be taking from one bus stop to the other. So at least by the time I get to my destination, I'll have made some good money. That is what I see. I don't see them as, that's
where the exploitation is.
Of course. But like you are saying, they are rational human beings. They think that to go and waste about 1 hour, 2 hours loading, may not be helpful to them. So why not do the tot system so that I can get more customers or more clients to join me? I think all that boils down to regulation. If as a state we think that we need to regulate these operators, then we have to do something about it. I think the Transport Ministry has to liaise up with the various unions to see how best there can be some legislation on these things, so that at least there we
can we legislate an open market, a free market? Fine,
but if we are not regulating, then there should be their unions should be very effective. They should be able to buy it. At least if we are unions that are very effective and supportive to their members, they will be able to buy. They will be able to ensure that they do the right thing, so that instead of coming out, leaving the station and moving out to different bus stops to pick people, the regulator will be able to control them so that they do the right thing, rather than say that I don't get it. I think that the right thing must be done. Sure. The right thing is that the regulator must be able to provide the necessary systems that will help all these players play in line or work in line with the rules, so that we don't have some of these systems working out. Yeah.
Very well. Honorable Issah, from, like Elvis mentioned, Kufuor throughout, we've seen Ayalolo, we've seen Metro Mass, just before
revamp of STC.
Exactly, just before Akufo-Addo government left, we saw electric buses. What is the challenge? Why are we unable to fix the public, and I'm saying public, not commercial, public transport system, to provide an alternative to the private ones?
Good morning to you again, and good morning to my fellow panelists and to your viewers this morning. Transportation in Accra. I grew up in Accra in the 80s, where we had the city lines, we had the OSES, we had the blue lines. Those were buses that ran on schedule in Accra in the 80s. These buses were supposed to have been procured maybe by Harry Sawyer in the Liman administration, very, very, very early in the 80s. So that's what I grew up to. And this was substituted by the Chololis of the time in Abeka. The Think Twices and all of that. I mean, those were how we moved about in the day. Over time, we saw the introduction of those minibuses, and it's for my recollection, it was after the Agege people came. So initially, it was even called the Agege bus.
Agege bus.
It was called the Agege bus initially, before the proliferation of all of this. But it all boils down to the efficiency in the system. I think that what government needs to do is to create the enabling environment. Subsequently, we've seen the introduction of the Ayalolos, the Metro Mass, and other interventions, which have all not given us the results that we would have thought. But these are models that are being run in other cities across the world. I mean, if you go to London, there are stagecoaches and all of that, but these are run by different companies, and they are managed by the local government authorities, not central government. Not central government. Right. Such that the local government authorities on that route will have a way to have the bus run, have the ticketing system, find a way to share revenues that's acceptable to all the parties or stakeholders involved. And I think that we try to model Lulu on that level.
System, yeah.
Unfortunately, the creation of the bus routes and all of that, I mean, still when you drive along Abekan Junction, you see the attempt to create the priority routes and all of that didn't come to fruition. But there is a situation that we need to tackle. Hitherto, when we have spoken or had some challenges with transportation within Accra, it's been first. It's been the dollar or the exchange rate is gone up. The parts to replacement of parts in the vehicles have become more expensive. Fuel prices have been increased, so we have to increase fares, and we've been doing that for the last couple of years. I mean. And this time, I'm getting another facet of the challenge, scarcity of buses. That's what they're saying. It means that there's something fundamentally wrong with the environment in which they operate. I'm wondering, you see, we've had STC for God knows how long. Today, STC has a main competitor, the VIP, the VIP buses. STC still has some bottlenecks in its operations. But you see, when we speak about safety, I'm sure everybody will opt for STC ahead of all the other competitors within that market. The VIP, though, has proven to be efficient and profitable. If they weren't efficient, if they weren't profitable, they wouldn't still be in business after all those years. They would have collapsed long ago. So it means that there's something that the VIP system is doing that probably STC or other competitors are not doing. And so this is how we have to improve the system. What is VIP doing that has made it so sustainable? When VIP started, we thought it was going to be like many other attempts. But over time, they have proven that they have the know-how to be sustainable. So how come VIP is being sustained over the years? Meanwhile, Metro Mass has still got teething problems. And the issues or the challenges are there for all of us. When you go to the yards of this public transportation companies, see the buses that are parked there. Sometimes the flimsy or the very small faults, and I mean somebody's just finding a reason why they shouldn't run, finding a reason why they should get rid of that bus to somebody's advantage, and all of that. I mean, what I think we should do going forward is that government itself should sit back, create the enabling environment, and allow private participation. I believe that for a model that we tried like Ayalolo, if we have allowed private participation such that the buses or private individuals could have an opportunity to own buses that will run on the routes or be part of the system, it will bring some efficiency. Because look, we are rational beings. We run businesses or undertake ventures for profit.
True.
And so there is no other motivation for a private individual to own a vehicle other than to make profit. I'm thinking that in this era, when we are being told that, oh, the exchange rate is now much better. Now when you go to the banks, it's 10 point something. Abuchi is selling it at 12 cedis, and when you go to the pumps, fuel prices have reduced. Oil is about 10.99 per. I was thinking that it will bring some efficiency and fares. I mean,
a reduction in fares
will come down. So for us to even be having more teething problems, where people are showing that there is some challenge within the system, else challenges like this will not be rearing their head at this time. When you'll be thinking that because of the conditions that we have had to deal with in the past are getting better, local or urban transportation will get better. It's getting worse. It's getting worse, and this thought still. It didn't start from yesterday.
True.
It's been something that has been in operation. Whenever the transport operators realize that there is some pressure, they resort to that, and they are rational beings. I mean, they want to make more profits at every given opportunity. And so this, until we are able to resolve the teething problems within the system, we'll be faced every now and again. Look, GPRT, we are talking about GPRT started maybe in the early 80s as one of the paramilitary arms of the government, right? I recollect them starting with blue uniforms, where even drivers were supposed to have worn uniforms.
They were
but it's
wearing
still,
those times.
you see, with their berets and all of that. But it's still an association. Subsequently, we've seen the likes of Protoa and actually get themselves. The GPRT was a mother organization. One way
there's
or
some
the other.
GRTCC also.
No, that's why
There are quite a number of
for the unions.
There are quite a number of this.
Negotiate with the
government.
transport.
So that is the umbrella that actually covers the GPRT, Protoa, and the likes. You see, but the GPRT was a mother one, and all the other ones it was a spin-off from the GPRT. I think that it is not a case of government going to sit with GPRT. I think we need to create an enabling environment. I think we need to sit down and have a real look at urban transportation and have a system where private participation is actually rationalized. Because look, people are rational beings. If the private people are allowed to run a model like we have in London or other big cities in the world, it solves our problem. But you see, then again, it's not also a very easy thing to do. Whilst I will say London has, when you go to New York, you don't see or the whole of America, you don't see an effective public transport system like that because their notion is on car ownership. Is that the route we want to go? If that's a route, then we have to probably look at our infrastructure again and make traveling around more efficient. Look, 20 or 30 years ago, within London, there were places that you could drive off and not, but in the last maybe 2 decades, they started charging fees as to if you drive your private car within certain the middle bit of London, you are charged what they call some
emissions levy.
Not emissions levy,
Recently
but
they brought emissions levy.
Emissions levy might be, but
that's to fight climate change.
Congestion.
But there's something.
Congestion. There's some charge like that. So these are all things that it's a holistic thing that we have. But if we keep doing this, let's go meet these people, I don't know how we are going to solve the problem of scarcity of buses. Be thinking that today
the scarcity is artificially created.
Artificially created. I mean, how could it be artificial? Because if GPRT sits down and decides that, look, we are going to create or artificially create shortages. I mean, if it's a profitable sector, you see other people will go and invest because now we are made to believe that duties have come down because of the exchange rates.
Exactly.
And we are made to believe that fuel prices have come down. We are made to believe that prices of parts. A couple of days ago, the Minister for Trade went to Abosukai, urging the people to reduce their price. I mean, it's rational. And we keep saying something, right? Look,
GPRT say that people are doing targeted reduction.
And
so the reduction, they are reducing on parts that they GPRT do not use.
Oh, okay.
Because the GPRT is using the 205.
Yeah, 207.
207 and the Toyota Hiace. But the spare parts of those buses have not been reduced. Exactly. For private cars.
No, but the people are also smart.
They are being smart. Yeah.
People are rational. You think that people are rational and they will take advantage to improve their profitability. You see, when you say attitude, even attitude can be resolved by rationality.
True.
By rationality. those electric buses that we tried in the dying embers of our government. I mean, if it's promoted, I think that will go a long way. Yeah. Within this year, one thing that I've realized within the auto market is electric cars from China being marketed at a very aggressively. I mean, it's something that I admire. I wish I could afford one, so I could, but unfortunately not. Oh, but Charlie, you know how things go.
Opposition wars.
You see, let's look at, and I keep saying that, look, for us as a nation to make progress, we should target policies at the masses.
Right.
At the masses.
Right.
Last week we were talking about the achievement or the performance of government. I said, look, let's look at how everything that we do impacts on standard of living, on employment, on bridging the gap between the rich and the poor. That is what a government does. When you bring policies, free SHS, everybody benefits, it's mass, then people feel the impact. But when you say dollar CD and you decide that you're going to destroy our environment to massage our currency to this level, and I keep saying that, look, you can argue for whatever you want, right? But this CD dollar, it is good. Yeah, it is good. Don't get me wrong, it is good. But let's look at the baskets.
There's not everyone who's excited, though. The exporters are not happy.
Of course, there's another arm of it. Cocoa board today. Yeah. It's
affecting revenue.
Seriously.
It's affecting revenue.
Even GRA.
So perhaps stability instead of...
It is stability. It is not where the exchange rate is. It is stability. And Professor Abuano did mention that when you did the...
William Babwatin.
Babwatin, formerly of the University of Ghana. He did mention that it is not where the exchange rate is, whether it is 1 CD to 20, 20 CDs to $1. No, it's stability to allow people plan effectively. That is what, because look, the people in Abosoka, they are thinking that, look, I bought this thing when the rate is this way, but I need to replenish my stock and make a margin on it to sustain my business. So he is projecting the exchange rate going down, maybe 6 months as it turns around his stock. So when you don't have that stability, you would not be able to enjoy whatever benefits you have in managing your exchange rate.
Obviously, let me take a few quick messages and then I'll give you a minute to wrap up on this. Okay, let me take a few quick messages. This one says, Applaud to Accra before the Christmas was 150. The Christmas it was 200 CDs. Now they are charging 300 CDs by the small cars. This one says, in Ghana, there's a mindset that some individuals will exploit any situation for personal gain. Despite government efforts to improve transport systems, private transport operators often find ways to maximize profits, sometimes at the expense of commuters. In Accra, private and trotro owners seem to deliberately create situations to extract money from passengers. State transport must try as much as possible to be the major player in our transport system. Aminu from Ensawam sent that. This one here says, if GPRTU claims that the vehicles charging discriminatory fares are not part of them, then no commercial vehicle should be allowed to operate outside a recognized union, because only through union accountability can we protect passengers from discriminatory fares and ensure fairness in the transport system. The people are private. How do you...
There's no law that binds anybody to
exactly. And you can't force them to join a union. So this is essentially a political strategy by the opposition to make ill the gains made by the government. How can fuel prices be historically low and businessmen don't want ordinary Ghanaians to feel the impact? Ahmed from Nima says, good morning, Nana. It is unfortunate when the spokesperson on government communication says cost of living has declined. Who told him so? When Ghanaians pay more for electricity, water, transport and education, etc., he should come again. All right, keep your messages coming in. Elvis, final thoughts. I'll come to you, Honorable.
I think
in about a minute, so we can move on.
Let's be clear in our mind. If you ask me, my advice to the government will be simple. STC has the track record of safety, but the financial sustainability has been a problem for STC. VIP, and I think there are two other bus companies. They are proving financial sustainability, but they have safety records. Why don't government look at this and say, look, let's put STC as a government institution, as a joint venture with these private bus companies. Okay. So that the safety that STC boasts of benefits the bus companies.
Exactly.
But the bus company now bring out the expertise of financial turnaround.
Yeah.
Because STC is virtually doing what the VIP and the OA are doing now. STC actually buses owned by the state have all broken down. So if you see many of the STC buses on the road, it is private people who have bought it. And have given to STC to run on their behalf, and they brand it as STC. So a lot of the STC buses you see on the road, they are not government owned. But they learned this from the private people. So the VIP and the OA and the rest, one person started a company called OA or VIP. But most of the buses you see are not belong to the person who started it. They have a system where if you're a private person, you have money, you can buy the bus. You buy it and they add it to their fleet. And then they employ people to work and then they give you your money. So they have a lot of the buses, but individuals own the buses in OA and VIP, as you see. STC is also doing similar thing. So for me, I think that if we government can look at STC and say, you have the training school, you have the safety record, you are able to provide safety. Let's see how we can create a joint venture between STC and OA and VIP. And then the safety record you have benefits that sector, so you reduce the accidents on their part, and whichever buses you are able to procure as government, these people will manage it for them to be financially sustainable. And I think that if we're able to do that, then we can have a bigger public transport. It's a joint venture, and now they can look at how they can maximize all the routes around town and give us some level of public transport. Two, look, a lot of the the issues we're having is because our only means of transport is vehicle. It's only by the road.
I was going to come to that. See, should we all travel by road?
Nobody's talking about multimodal transport in this country. We don't have any, nobody has been able to put any master plan. But the people who are coming from Adan, Sogakope, Sege, all the areas to Accra, that leads to that large traffic there. If there's a water transport, where there are boats on the river, on the sea, that can take you to Tema, can take you to Labadi, can take you to Jamestown, Teshi and the rest. Most people who are driving those cars will not drive. Because the cost of traveling on the sea, if we have an effective water transport system, will be way, way cheaper than driving your car in that traffic to Accra. Same way those who complain about Kaswa traffic, the Kaswa traffic can easily be reduced by water transport. If people from Tema, Labadi, Teshi and Co can just join boats on the sea, that do not need to use the road, and they can get to these communities by the sea, by near to Kaswa. And then from there, they take a vehicle to their homes. A lot of the cars that we see as traffic on the Kaswa road will reduce. First of all, the water transport will be cheaper. It is faster because there's no traffic that is going to have a problem for you on the water. So we are sitting, and God has given us another channel that we can make use of for public transport. And all we care about is about building roads. It's roads, no matter how we build the roads, we cannot contain the cars because everybody wants to. But if I have a car, I want to use it only when I'm going for a private trip over the weekend. But if there's an effective water transport from Adans again, the rest to Accra, same way from Kaswa and Winneba and all the rest to Accra, even Cape Coast to Accra, and I know that it's cheaper, I'll get there on time, do whatever I'm going to do and get back to my house on time. Why would I want to spend money to buy fuel and pay so much just to make the same trip? I will not. So you see, we should, as a country, look at water transport. How are we making it, use of what? Accra can be decongested easily. If we we make use of water transport. Thirdly, I have also realized that we built roads, we leave the median with big space, and then we are even unable to maintain the median.
It's full of weeds.
Then I ask myself, if you go to there, they have something called tram. It's like train, but run on electric cables. Can't we rather think about making those median of the roads a space for a small train?
Oh, no, we speak your interest there.
Okay, that would be a small train.
Sky train.
Okay, and make it a small train route that if you are from Adenta to Accra, the median is just there with street light, and most of the time we can't maintain it. Use the N1 and look at the median. Huge median left. We are not making good use of it. Look at the road to Ablekuma. The median we have left, we are not making any good use of it. Even the motor we are building, I'm not sure that we have any plan for a train to run in between the two 5 lanes. We don't have a system where we say a train should run through the middle. How can we be building when we realize that communities keep springing up? I told you I went to a place called Ablikumatigu, and that place is like almost half of Accra. The communities there, huge place. All these people may come to Accra to do one thing or the other. So if there are no alternative means of transport for all these people, and all of them have to rely only on the road, then you tackling traffic and this situation will be difficult. So we must move and say we have done a lot for the roads. Let's also look at other ones. That's why I've said from Accra to Kumasi, the express road that John Mahama and his government has proposed. If you ask me, we should be thinking an express train road to Accra for passenger, not another road. The road has been done. We have to complete the road as an alternative. And then let's do a rail line, Accra to Kumasi for passenger transport as another alternative. And now that we have a flight, so if the person wants to fly at Kumasi to Accra back, they can fly. If you want to use a speed train, bullet train Accra to, he can do that. By so doing, someone can be in Accra and be working in Kumasi and coming back every day. Because maybe an hour and a half you are at work, an hour and a half you are back home. Meanwhile, we spend an hour, 2 or 3 hours from Adenta to Accra. So you have to wake up at 5 a.m. to go to Accra and come to work.
So the options.
So we have to look at the alternatives, other options.
Very well.
Parallel to President Kufuor's era, when the Nkrumah Chimota to Circle Road was dualized, it was chaotic. It was chaotic. I think that we need to have a holistic look at this thing. And it is not about an expressway from Accra to Kumasi. Sure. It's all well and good. I mean, if we can afford, if we can do things like that. But there are solutions we can put in our current system. I also recollect seeing a Deputy Minister for Transport not too long ago on social media somewhere where she's going to inspect some buses and then we are expecting those buses and all of that. I expect that such interventions will be quickened for us to feel the impact in the system. But what I think the long-term solution is that government should look at a way to get all stakeholders, create an enabling environment, allow people who have what it takes to invest into the system. I mean, create an environment that is attractive enough. If it's going to enable people make profits, people are rational. They will put their investments in there. But this whole reliance on those mini buses and all of that, even that, if you go to countries like Kenya and South Africa, the matatas and all of that, they have a way to operate. Let's look at its efficiency. How is it that they are more efficient than what we have here? And this thought thing is just not new. It won't go away until we create that enabling environment. We'll be phased and also government officials should be more effective and all of that.
You just had to do that. You just had to do that. Honorable Ndebilla, are we late to this multimodal system of transport?
Oh yes, I think
we're late to the party.
Yeah. I think his proposition is a very good one.
Yes, back this or we could have put a boat on it too.
The problem Odo River. Anyway, so
let me know if you go there. Elvis will.
I think that the microeconomic or the stable microeconomic environment we have today is as a result of prudent management and not the destruction of water bodies, as
you are responding to him now.
Of course, as my brother here said. If it is about destruction of water bodies, we know the government that did that to our water bodies.
Some government destroyed water bodies?
Of course, it was the ex-World government, the MPP government, that destroyed our water bodies, destroyed our forest. Yes, the government.
How so?
Of course, the government and its people.
How did the government?
Its own people, its own individuals, its own people in government. Why? Have you not heard of the quantum mining thing? And what the president said when a quantum mining they said they were into illegal mining, what the president cleared him. The president came out openly and cleared him. I am saying on authority that quantum mining is not doing illegal mining. Where are we today?
But so look, whoever was involved in a quantum mining was not in government.
So to me, of course, he was working. He was a chairman of a party, of course, and working with the government. You should know that there's a thin line between government and party, especially when those.
This person was not a government appointee.
I'm saying that there's a thin line between a government official, okay, or government and a party official. There's a thin line, very close. So that tells you we know the individuals that did that. We know the individuals that sold our forest reserves to families. We know that for mining purposes, you know. So when he's talking about like trying to create the impression that this is the stable environment or the appreciation of the cities as a result of destruction of the environment, you know.
Let's not digress.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there. No, you can't. I've not finished that point. Let me end my answer. So the point I'm trying to see, my concluding remarks about this is that I support a robust public transport system. It's a very key thing. It is that which will come to, you know, do away with this annual ritual of prices, you know, reduction of fuel prices and transport owners refusing to reduce their prices and the rest of them. It will come to reduce that to the barest minimum. And then, like the proposition from my brother here, Elvis here, about this, you know, water transport. It's a very good, it's a laudable idea.
The ferry on the front plains has been broken down since.
That I think that we have to take it serious. I remember some years back, I was in Sierra Leone, where I alighted at the airport. Yeah. You know.
Is that Lungu?
Yes, Longue Airport. Yeah. Longue Airport, Longue Airport to Freetown is just about, I think about 25 kilometers, like 25 kilometers or so. And it takes about 15 minutes or 30 minutes from Longue Airport to Freetown.
And you go by boat?
Yes, by boat. But if you go by road, they told us it was about 5 hours. Yeah. And so we went with the boat, and very short. So why not go into systems like that? So when systems like that are put in place, it improves efficiency. You know, the time, man hours wasted in, you know, on the roads. And then the issue of climate change, you know, it all helps to reduce emissions. Yeah, it helps to reduce that. So I believe that it's a laudable idea that government should take on board and begin to look at it, especially along the coastal areas where these systems can easily be used.
Very well.
Not too long ago, we saw the issue of Joseph Yamin and Abanga being referred
back to this
and being accused of undertaking
allegations that have been referred to.
I say allegations. Not to be investigated.
What about those that are in court?
It's been almost a year now. We've not heard anything.
What about those
allegations are being
probably honorable.
What about those in court?
You see, but there's a quote attributable to Professor Bokpin of University of Ghana. He says that if all that it takes to manage an economy is to produce gold illegally, destroy the environment, and keep pumping the gold proceeds to show stability of the city, then it does not make sense. I'm attributing this quote to Professor Bokpin. And I agree, I totally agree with him.
Yes, correct.
And so we should be careful as a country. We will pay for this down the line. And if anybody thinks that the Galamsey menace is gotten any better, or the government is fighting Galamsey better than we used to do, it's a lie. We will be hit. We will be hit. Now you are telling us gold production is increased by some like 30, 40 tons. Where do you think it's coming from? Where do you think it's coming from? We should be careful as a nation.
Very well. Quick message. The government of Ghana has done well by reducing fuel prices and the price of goods. In fact, let us applaud the government for the tremendous work. I am Adam Salam Atubiga inside Zembila Zakum.